to. Bigfoot's real, the truth in you. Science, sense, and grace combined. This is all, it's time to shine. Mystery solved, it's time to shine. Squatch-D brings it live. Steve and Chris, they're gonna fly. No stone unturned, the facts alive. Bigfoot's story now defined. Footsteps here and shadows there. In the woods they do prepare. Concepts are like the way. Bigfoot's secrets shown today. Sunday night of lights to shine. Sunday night is sunshine. Swan seeds, it's time to shine. Sunday night of lights to shine. Sunday night of lights to shine. Mystery solved, it's time to shine. Mystery solved, it's time to shine.
Welcome to Squatch-D TV, where the truth is first before all else. Join your hosts, veteran investigator, TV personality, and author Steve Kulls, and from the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Project and the Kentucky Fried Fixes channel, Chris Bennett. Sit back and prepare to take yourself on a journey with the longest-running Bigfoot podcast, Squatch-D TV. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
And good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatch-D TV for today's date, October 27th, 2024. I'm your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective, Steve Kulls, along with my co-host right down there. Hello, Mr. Chris.
Steve, good to see you, bud. Hope everything's been going good for you in New York.
Well, it's a little better today, a little better. Weekend started more on a positive note.
That's great. I love to hear that. We've had some nice weather here. Beautiful days. Beautiful days. A little cool at night, but that's okay. That's all right.
Same here.
Not getting down to where I have to really turn the heat up yet, but it won't be long. But yeah, everything's been going good in Kentucky.
Yeah, the heat goes on in my house, usually in the evening, late evening, like before bedtime, and that just keeps the house warmed overnight, and then it usually goes off in the morning.
I don't mind that. If it kicks on a couple times at night, that's fine. But during the day, it's all off now, so that's great. Wonderful. No air conditioning required. No heating required.
Nope.
And still warm enough you can get outside and do stuff, and especially when it's beautiful weather like it's been. How great is that,
Today was a little breezy, though, so there was a little bit of a chill in the air today.
Kite flying weather. Yeah. Oh, man, what a show. What a show.
We are. Now, normally it's our policy not to talk religion. We don't talk religion. We don't talk politics. But since this topic is often brought up about the Nephilim, we decided to go ahead and do a show on this and see what we find out. Time to get a little education, because when we prepare for these shows, we educate ourselves. So that's the biggest thing. And, when I started digging into this, actually, I started doing this on Friday night, right after the show. And as it turned out, I learned a bunch of things.
So we are going to be using a few verses from the Christian Bible, but this is not going that we're using it as a textbook, and this is not going to be a prayer meeting.
Correct. Amen.
Amen.
Now, just so you know, no politics in the chat. It was no politics at all in the chat, please.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to get into that.
Otherwise,
all
we're going
to about politics is make sure you get out and vote.
That's it. That's your God-given right, but it's also our right to not to give up who we necessarily vote for.
Right. Exactly.
So, and that's what we, ask people to do in this chat, is not to expose their political affiliations, because we will not ours.
Please. Oh, and how is the chat doing? The chat is hopping.
Chat
I've got to scroll down a little while here. Yeah, it is hopping. I've done scrolled down about 3 windows here.
Now, as you know, I was out Saturday at the Collar City Paracon at the Troy Public Library, and I got to meet Steve Miller, who's one of our members here in chat today. So it was a great pleasure meeting Steve, and thank you for purchasing Psychology of Bigfoot. And it was a good fun event, and I ended up I got a little more involved than I thought I was going to get involved, but that's a story for another night. So let's do our roll call for tonight.
What, did Steve Miller bring his band, or was it just him?
It was just him.
I'm a joker.
I'm a joker. I'm a joker. I'm a midnight toker. Oh, wrong song.
No, we know Steve. It's not you, not that Steve. We know you.
Okay, first in today was the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. So that's got to be Miriam, I believe.
Yeah, Bigfoot.
Or Miss Fabian. How are you? And of course, Pat Collins in the house. Don Gamel Jr., Walter Kroll, Relic Tomlin.
Welcome. Get you on the
yes, I got a member milestone message. What is that? It means you've been a member for a while, and thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we appreciate our members. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Danny Week says he's going to be a little bit late for the party. Sharon's became a new member today. Thank you, Sharon. Hello.
Yeah, great to have you.
And we got Pete H in the house. Jeremiah, Bigfoot Society with a 6-fingered high five.
We showed or we didn't show it, but we talked about one of his videos that he had put up. Was it Instagram or TikTok? Had like 5 bazillion views on it. what a great piece.
Yep. Jen, hello, Jen. Bristol, what's going on?
Bristol?
Helton, hey, Chris. Helton, aka Fasterman. How are you, sir? It's a Susie Monster. Traveling with Jim. We also saw Jim Saturday as well. Good to see you as well, Jim. Walter Kroll, hello. Mick, of course, is in the house. Boris Kahn, hello. Martin McTie, hello. Deb, Mrs. Trackway, good to see you. The Bat Mom, hello, Bat Mom, good to see you. Sharon, what's happening? Oh, we already said Sharon, didn't we? Happens when you get on a roll. Stephen Barcelo from the Cryptozoology Paranormal Museum down in Littleton, North Carolina. Hello. David Parker, what's going on? Of course, Just Steve is in the house, as is Steve Miller. Tracy Benna, hello.
Tracy? I'm lost. Are we almost through here?
Jeff D. Smith, I believe, is in the house as well.
Jeff D.
Sandwich Savant, hello. Sandwich Savant.
Oh my God. How do you guys think of these?
Sandra Piper. Anita Hyperchuck, good to see you, Anita, as well. Good to see you, Anita. Mike Stetton in the house. We got a full house tonight.
Yeah, I got lost a while ago. I'm looking.
I'm cruising right along here, Chris.
David Parker. Hi, David.
Already said hi to him.
Okay.
We got everybody.
All righty.
Chris is holding his head.
We didn't miss Grasshopper, did we? I want to make sure we don't miss
Grasshopper, if you're out there lurking, hello. And Roy Longley, if you're out there lurking, hello as well.
Exactly. We'll say hello to all our lurkers out there. We love you guys too. And I know I do too.
So what made me think of this is that every once in a while, I'm surprised we don't see Gary Johnson Sr. here. That would be very interesting to have him in the house.
Finding the trackway. Well, it's still early yet.
Yep.
But golly, I mean, a full house already. But thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. We appreciate having you. Mike.
So,
Mike.
And every time, every once in a while, you'll get this flicker from somebody saying, "Oh, well, the Bigfoot or Nephilim," and they talk about this and that and all this other stuff that I've never heard before. And I couldn't really explain it because I thought I knew my Bible fairly well.
Not
and,
bragging, but yeah, I've read it.
The grasshopper, Jay Fritz wandered into.
Jay, there's Grasshopper. Hey, man, we was looking for you.
Jay Fritz said, "Will the people in the front row please sit down? I can't see." Gary Johnson there is see that? Lori Gibbs, hello. Everybody's in the house now.
All right.
Including Grasshopper.
Yeah,
We already said hi to Grasshopper.
Yeah, we were looking for you, man. You want to miss Grasshopper.
All right. So every once in a while you get this Nephilim comment thrown at the Bigfoot the Bigfoot problem. And sometimes, how can you argue that other than saying something like, well, I don't feel that the Bible belongs in, the Bigfoot argument. But so I started digging into this because I really wanted to get myself educated to see if there was any legs to stand on either side of the argument. And I did kind of get some of the answers, but let's talk a little about it. What exactly are the Nephilim and Bigfoot? So the connection between the Nephilim and Bigfoot arises from a mix of myth, folklore, and modern interpretations that seek to explain mysterious or unexplained phenomena. Here are some reasons why some people draw parallels between the two and what might be misconstrued in this association. So, description of size and strength. Nephilim in the book of Enoch and the Bible. The Nephilim are often described as giants or mighty beings with references to their extraordinary size and strength. They are seen as offsprings of sons of God, often interpreted as fallen angels and human women. Bigfoot. Excuse me. Reports of Bigfoot describe it as large, ape-like creature, often standing between 7 and 10 feet tall. The giant structure leads some to draw a parallel between Bigfoot and the Nephilim as both being physically imposing figures. So, legends and folklore. Cultural myths. Many cultures have legends of giants or giant beings, which often serve as cautionary tales or explain natural phenomena. The Nephilim fit into this broader category of giant myths, and Bigfoot can be seen as a contemporary manifestation of similar folklore. Ancestral roots. Some theories suggest that Bigfoot might represent a remnant of ancient human ancestors or creatures that once existed. This idea aligns with the Nephilim's portrayal as beings that exist outside of normal human boundaries. So the connection between the Nephilim and Bigfoot. I'm sorry. Number 3 is mysteries and elusiveness. Elusive nature. Both the Nephilim and Bigfoot are shrouded in mystery. The Nephilim origins and fate are unclear. Actually, they're not. While Bigfoot remains a cryptid that may claim to have been seen, but has never been definitively proven to exist. This lack of evidence leads to speculation and imaginative connections. Conspiracy theories. I'm sorry.
Oh, get you a drink there, bud. Clear that throat out a little bit.
I have been. It's not that. It's the bronchioles.
Okay. Well, the conspiracy theories surrounding both the Nephilim and the Bigfoot often incorporate elements of conspiracy, suggesting that information about them is hidden or suppressed. This tendency to link the two can draw attention and create narratives that are compelling to believers. So, a lot of conspiracy theories, yes. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that place, they think, well, Bigfoot is mentioned in the Bible.
No,
well, they infer this because some of the people that were born in the Bible were born hairy. And I know it's Esau is one of them. I had to go back and look and double check.
Right.
I know Esau is listed as being born hairy. And I think it listed his color as like reddish brown. Okay. And
Well, let me just make a quick comment. Let's not get into any theological debates in chat, please. This discussion is purely for educational purposes.
Yeah, right.
I don't care if you believe in God or not. Please do not offend others by saying you either do or do not believe in God.
Yeah, yeah.
And start chat. Please keep your if you want to keep the chat, let's keep it focused on what is being said on the show.
Remember, we're not here to make anybody mad. Nobody. So we don't want to make each other mad. And we don't want to turn this into any kind of religious debate. This is not about religion tonight. We're just using this as a textbook to try to explain or try to figure out where some of these theories come from.
Right. Okay, here we are. Next slide. So, where is the Nephilim found in the Bible? Believe it or not, it's only found in Genesis 6 and Numbers 13.
Killing me, Mick.
So in Genesis 6, 1-4, the Nephilim are introduced just before the story of Noah's flood. This passage describes the sons of God, often interpreted as angels or divine beings, who took human women as wives, resulting in children who were mighty men or heroes of old. The Nephilim are described as being on the earth during this time, though their exact nature is left somewhat mysterious. And let me just say this for 1 second. And if you look at Genesis 6, line 4, it says the Nephilim were on earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old men of renown. Well, as I was explaining to Chris, why do we call God Father? Weren't men children of God? Weren't we all the sons of God?
Yes.
In some way? Mm-hmm. And if you look at Genesis, the beginning, Adam was made by God, called him Father, and Eve was created from Adam's rib.
Right.
So it made a lot of sense to me when it says the sons of God went to the daughters of humans. You know, the first human female being from Eve. So hard to say exactly what. And thank you, Roy Longley, for becoming a new YouTube member. We appreciate it.
Welcome to the club, Roy. Thanks, man.
So I don't know. I'm not even going to try to bounce it necessarily around, but let's leave it at that. I mean, for the sake of argument, what this means is going to be moot, and you'll see what I'm saying.
Right. And there's, when we were talking about this topic beforehand, I was telling Steve, I said, well, man, I maybe have to brush up a little bit on my Bible because I can only recall a couple of places in there
where
it talks about the Nephilim. And here in Genesis 6, we learn that they are supposedly the sons of God, went to the daughters of humans. The thing is, we don't know if that's talking about angels there or it's talking about human men. I don't know, though, if it's talking about human men as sons of God.
The Old Testament read really difficult.
Yeah, that's the Niv, yeah. Well, and the Niv too is more accurate because they used some of the stuff was translated directly from the Dead Sea Scrolls, so that's the one to study. Unless if you like the King James stuff, when you're going to go on all the these and thous, that's cool too. But the Niv is the one you want to use for textbook study.
Right.
But yeah, so Genesis 6. We
Laurie, I'm going to tend to disagree with you. What makes anybody at this point think Nephilim is a Sasquatch?
There's no description of it whatsoever.
Correct. Correct.
Just where
Genesis
the-
in Genesis 6, it doesn't say they're giants.
Right.
And if anything, it points to them being maybe like demigodish almost, as interpreted as angels or divine beings who took human women as wives. So that means their offspring, the Nephilim, would have been demigods.
See,
Like-
yeah, that's the thing. The sons of God, I could see that it would, if it was talking about human men, wouldn't it have said maybe the sons of Adam? What do you think, Steve?
Huh?
I said, do you
Well,
think
like
it would be
I
the
said, they
sons
could
of
be
Adam?
sons of Adam. Yeah, or again, at this point, who knows? But let's continue on, and so there's no describing them. I mean, there's really no describing them, at least in Genesis 6, of them being giants. But we get more of a description in Numbers 13, which says that. Numbers 13. When Moses sends spies to explore the land of Canaan, they report seeing a people of great size. People of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. This suggests the Nephilim, or descendants of similar beings, were associated with giant stature and strength. Again, Goliath was of giant stature and strength. Right? So the issue is here. I mean, you look, they talk about that, and they said, we saw the Nephilim there, the descendants of Enoch from the valley, come from the Nephilim. We seem like grasshoppers, we seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we look the same to them, meaning they looked small in stature. Right? It says nothing about being hair covered, nothing about any of that. Am I not correct? What do you think, Chris?
Not a single word about being covered in hair.
Right.
Nothing.
The only thing we have here is they were giant.
Yeah. That's it. Strong, big, strong giants.
Right.
They felt like grasshoppers compared to these guys. So,
And that's right. Bat Mom says, when I think of Goliath, I think of my son. I mean, look at Andre the Giant. Look at, look at, for example, like I said, the average North Korean is 5'7". The average, United States person is 6 foot, 6'2". We look like giant. If we put a group of Marines, or the especially select platoon of Marines that are all 6 foot and 6 foot to 6'4", and put them in front of troops that are all average 5'7", they're going to look like giants. They would describe them as giants. So what we just have is a relative description. Nothing about being hair covered, nothing about them being naked, nothing about them whatsoever what they look like.
yeah, it says right there in black and white. All the people we saw there.
Signing a track way. Look at Shaq. Look at Paul White. Look at Andre the Giant. Look at Hulk Hogan. Look at, the Undertaker. These are all people that would be considered giant.
Yeah.
So I don't see where this connotation is coming in so far, but this is where we start. Now let's look at this. The phrase, we seem like grasshoppers in our eyes and we look the same to them, from Numbers 13, conveys a powerful image of insecurity and fear. Here's a breakdown of its meaning. Self-perception. The spies felt insignificant compared to the giants they encountered in the land of Canaan. And let me make another point too. They said the cities are fortified. So whoever these giants were building cities and fortifying them. We don't see a Sasquatch building cities and fortifying those, do we? No. Perceived perspective. The phrase also suggests these giants, the Nephilim and descendants of Anak, viewed the Israelite spies similarly, as if they were not a threat. The spies believed that the inhabitants of Canaan saw them as weak and insignificant, reinforcing their... So the term giant may have been not necessarily a physical description. That it's entirely like he was a giant among men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they say that about great leaders. He was a giant among men. Lincoln was a giant. He was 6'5" at the time, or 6'8". But funny thing is George Washington was too. But you look at some other people that have gone down in history, like Winston Churchill, for example. Well, he was a giant among men. We describe them as a giant, not so much for their physical stature, but for their perceived status or their way they carried themselves. So that's another one. Symbol of fear. Grasshoppers often seen frail and easily crushed. By comparing themselves to grasshoppers, the spies expressed their belief that they were powerless against strong inhabitants of Canaan, which contributed to the overall message of despair and reluctance to enter the promised land. Metaphor for challenges. This imagery serves as a metaphor for facing seemingly insurmountable challenges. It illustrates how fear can distort our perception of reality, making obstacles appear larger and ourselves smaller than they actually may be. So there's another. I know, poor grasshopper. We're going to get off the grasshopper topic, grasshopper. So we appreciate that. So now let's talk about the Book of Enoch. In the Book of Enoch, the Nephilim are depicted as the offspring of the Watchers, a group of angels who rebelled against God and descended to earth. Here's a summary of how the book describes them. The fall of the Watchers. In Enoch, also known as the Book of the Watchers, a group of 200 angels led by angel whatever, Semiyaza, decide to leave heaven and descend to earth. They take human women as wives, defying divine boundaries, and teach humans forbidden knowledge like metallurgy, weapon making, astrology, and magical practices. The birth of the Nephilim. The union of the Watchers with human women results in the birth of the Nephilim, who are described as giants with extraordinary physical strength. According to Enoch, these beings are violent and oppressive, wreaking havoc on humanity. Their sheer size and hunger lead them to consume resources at an alarming rate, even turning on humans and animals when food runs out. No, I'm actually quite tan. It's just the lighting in here, buddy. So, there. You understand? If I turn the lights off, then we have the color of, we have the color of the room. So that's why there's white. I'm not white as the sun, believe it or not. I'm actually quite tan. Okay, judgment and destruction. God, seeing the destruction caused by the Nephilim and the corrupted Watchers, sends the archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel to warn of judgment. The Nephilim are destroyed in the flood, while the spirits of the Nephilim, according to Enoch, continue to roam the earth as evil spirits or demons. Lingering influence. After the Nephilim are destroyed, the Book of Enoch suggests that the spirits remain on earth, causing chaos and harm to humans. These spirits are often associated with demonic forces that influence humanity in later Jewish and Christian writings. The Book of Enoch expands on the Genesis account, portraying the Nephilim as not just giants, but as a source of corruption and suffering, giving them a cosmic appearance in the struggle between good and evil. This narrative influenced various religions and mythological interpretations of demons, fallen angels, and supernatural forces in both Judaism and Christianity. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with the Book of Enoch.
Well, there's a good reason why.
Yeah.
There's a good reason why, because the Book of Enoch is not in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's
I know
not
of it. Yeah, I know of it, but I've never studied it. Right. It's not.
Right. So what is exactly the Book of Enoch? The Book of Enoch is not included in most versions of the Bible. It's considered to be apocryphal, or non-canonical.
Not a word.
Apocryphal, right? And non-canonical in most texts in most Jewish and Christian traditions. Now, the term apocryphal refers to writings or stories that are of uncertain origin or authenticity and often excluded from official or authoritative collections like religious scriptures. These texts are often ancient and may offer teachings or stories associated with biblical figures, but were ultimately not recognized as divinely inspired or authoritative.
Yeah, my Bible don't have that book.
Correct. Right. So the term non-canonical refers to writings that do not hold the same status as officially accepted scripture. In the context of the Bible, non-canonical texts are those that have not been recognized as authoritative scripture and are not considered divinely inspired.
Ah, yes.
But they still exist. But here's the other problem. We will continue on this. The book of here are the rejections. Okay, the book of Enoch was excluded from the Hebrew Bible during the formation of the Jewish canon. Rabbinic Judaism generally regards it as non-canonical work and non-authoritative, viewing its teachings as inconsistent with the core Jewish beliefs. Protestantism, most Protestant denominations consider the book of Enoch heretical or apocryphal. So in many of the Protestant religions, it's heresy. Okay. Roman Catholicism, again, same. It's non-canonical. Eastern Orthodoxy, they do not consider it canonical. Evangelicals are even stronger about that, reject the body of Enoch as heretical, focusing solely on the accepted Bible text and often regarded the book as a source of false teachings. Right. So you may want to know, but it's heresy. And to me, and it's non-authoritative. And it's a story that somebody made up about Genesis. It wasn't divinely inspired, right? The Bible is supposed to have been divinely inspired. So if people that are evangelicals are preaching that the Nephilim are Sasquatch because of the book of Enoch, that technically is heresy. Right. While the book of Enoch has gained interest for its historical and theological insights, it's generally viewed with skepticism or outright rejection by mainstream Judaism and most Christian denominations. The book's teachings and narrative, which expand on biblical stories and introduce concepts like the Watchers and Nephilim, are often seen as divergent from accepted theological positions. And thank you. I agree with that. Heresy is hearsay, as the Bat Mom said. Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. And what's interesting I want to thank Dr. Margaret Howe at Western Kentucky University. I never thought this would come in handy. But even writings and texts that were written and recorded about the same time, contemporary as the other books of the Bible, doesn't necessarily make them fit in with the books of the Bible. And I had heard of the book of Enoch, but I've never studied it because it's not included in the Christian Bible, not my Christian Bible anyway. So, however, it may be a fascinating book. It's something other than what Christians and several other denominations.
Mick says there were actually many books that weren't included in the Bible despite being validated scriptures. The various councils of Trent excluded anything they felt didn't support their ideology. And that's based on what knowledge, Mick? Now, and I don't mean to be a dick, but based on what authority can you say that? Were you there? These are texts that are written over 2,000 years ago. Who the hell knows? Right? The Bible is the Bible is the Bible. And the Nephilim were only in two lines of scripture. So to me, going from point A to point B, from a biblical standpoint, is not only heretical, but it's irresponsible.
Well, I think in the Catholic religion, and I'm not Catholic, so I'm not speaking from knowledge of it, but from direct knowledge. But I think they have a book in the church that's called the Apocrypha, and it lists some of these lost books or books that are not included in the Holy Bible.
Right.
And that the Book of Enoch may be listed in the Apocrypha.
Right.
But I don't think they teach that. It's like in the library. But now, if somebody's out there in the that practices the Catholic religion, if you know different, let me know, because I'd like to know. But I do think they have that record as it's called the Apocrypha.
Right.
And that's why I was kind of wondering where all this information about Nephilim comes from, because in the Christian Bible, there's only a couple of places. And in Genesis, it's mentioned how they come about being. Okay, they're the sons of God and human women. Okay, but there's no description there. And then later on, we get the description over in Numbers when Moses sends down his infiltrators to spy on the new areas there. And then they talk about them being giants. They felt like they could be crushed easily.
I agree. The Book of Enoch should not be considered at all. It's not biblical. And to say it's biblical is heresy. It's heresy because it's considered false teachings by many different religions. In fact, the people that accepted it were two religious cults, the 12 tribes and the Branch Davidians. They were the ones that believed in the Book of Enoch, right? Right?
Oh my God.
They were the ones that believed in the Book of Enoch and treated it as canon.
Okay, that blew my mind there about the Branch Davidians. I did not know that they were in that Book of Enoch crowd there. But wow. Okay, does that tell you anything? That tells me a lot right there. Wow.
What is a book, Tracy, in the Catholic Bible? Not the Book of Enoch. Mm-mm. No.
Well,
I don't know, Gary. That is something. It has nothing to do with Sasquatch, that's for sure.
but nobody describes the Nephilim as being hairy. We know they're large, and they're sons of God and women, but no hair. And we're talking about they created cities. They had big cities. So, well, wait a minute. That's not
Right.
big. That's not talking about Bigfoot. Bigfoot City. I haven't seen one yet. I'd like to see one. It'd be cool.
So, it's firm belief that the notion of Nephilim and Bigfoot are related is largely speculative and often emerges from a combination of myth, folklore, and a search for explanations of the unknown. That's people saying, well, it's the Nephilim. Well, what makes you think, well, there were watchers and they were fallen angels? No, they weren't. According to the Bible itself, it did not even. Genesis, what was it? Genesis 6, is it? Right? Genesis 6 says nothing about them coming from fallen angels. Nothing. Right? And
see, yeah, that's a tricky line there, because it says sons of God.
Gary, I'm sorry if you thought Bigfoot called you by your real name. I'm not telling you it didn't call you your real name, but you're pretty special, because I've been around my creatures in my research area for a number of years, and they've never called me out by name. So I'm just saying you must be really special, and I don't mean to offend you, but so be it.
Welcome, Patty Lindsay, new member.
Thank you, Patty.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's the thing. The descriptions that people are getting are from that Book of Enoch. And So since that's not included in the Bible, I don't think it would be. You can't really say that it's in the Bible, because it's not. It's not in there.
Nope.
Um,
In fact, the Bible is quite clear what the Nephilim are.
right.
They weren't from fallen angels. They were from the sons of God. Nowhere does it say fallen angels. That was somebody writing a book off of that. Could have been fiction. It could have been one of the first fictional books ever written. Because what better? I mean, that would be like saying Dan Brown's The Angels and Demons or the Da Vinci Code was, if that was wrapped in paper and covers torn up, and say somebody wrote Dan Brown's Angels and Demons in Aramaic and then stashed it, and 1,000 years from now, somebody will say, "Oh, we found this new book. It's called the Book of Dan Brown." Wow. And that's what it would be the equivalent to. And it's true, the Nephilim, they became demons. Why? So
it's a cool story. You got to give it that. It's a cool story.
All right.
But if we're going by actually biblical text, what the Bible says as a textbook, it doesn't say any of that.
Right. Now, the other thing, too, is if this is true, then why are there so many cultures without the Nephilim concept? Because, example, the East Asian cultures don't have anything similar to a Nephilim. Neither do indigenous African cultures or indigenous Native American cultures. Hindu and Buddhist traditions don't have anything like the Nephilim. Polynesian and Oceanic cultures, again, no Nephilim. And indigenous Australian cultures have nothing similar to the Nephilim. This book of Enoch is an island unto its own.
Oh, grasshopper. I've studied this all my life without bias. I have full collections of ancient texts. I'll just listen now. Grasshopper, come on the show, man. Talk about this stuff if you want to. That would be so cool.
Again, I don't want this to get into be a flippant theological discussion. The point being is that Bigfoot is no more a Nephilim than it is a platypus.
Well, according to the text of the Bible, we can say that the Nephilim were giants, and they were from the sons of God and women, human women, and that's it. No other descriptions other than they had big cities. Big cities. Right. That doesn't sound like Bigfoot.
Nope. Nowhere does it say they were covered in hair.
No.
In fact, if they're demons, if Bigfoot are demons, they look kind of weak, don't they, for a demon?
Right.
And what's with that smell?
Yeah.
Yes,
we do have, Esau, hairy person in the Bible. But, we're talking about something that happens like thousands of years ago. And at that time, man still might have been.
But some of the contrived arguments you'll get is, I've even had people say, well, the Nephilim were the sons of Esau. And that they were, it's just, it gets all fouled up.
Yeah, but the thing about Esau, though, he wasn't a giant. Esau was just the hairy one. Twins? Oh, wait a minute. Twin brother. Yeah. When her time to give birth came, sure enough, there were twins in her womb. The first came out reddish, as if snugly wrapped in a hairy blanket. They named him Esau, which means hairy. His brother followed, his fist clutched tight to Esau's heel. They named him Jacob, which means heel. Pretty cool.
And I agree, Grasshopper. Is that I was just telling, I don't want to get into a huge theological discussion, but you're right that Bigfoot is a singular primate, and Nephilim is something completely different. It's debatable if it even exists today, because nowhere in the Bible does it call them demonic. Nowhere in the Bible does it say they came back as demons. Just that they were wiped out during the flood. That's it.
Yeah. That was one of the reasons for the Great Flood, according to the text of the Bible, was to wipe out those guys.
But yeah.
Not debating if it happened or not, just what the text of the book says. That's all we're doing.
Well,
Oh no.
you know what I'm thinking?
I looked over in the chat like, oh no.
You know what I'm thinking?
Are we going there?
And why was Steve married before he was married to Sherry?
Well, I think maybe those are a little bit different books that are taught in different religions, maybe some of this stuff. And I have no opinion one way or the other. Either way, it's fine. Whatever your religion is and how you practice it is your business.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
Pat just said, did I mention I was excommunicated? that Pat is not surprising.
Finding the Trackway says Bigfoot is a direct descendant of a man named Fred, poor mountaineer, barely kept
his family fed. I thought it was Jed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me quit cackling here, man. That's good. Just needed a little banjo music to go with that. But yeah, the chat is really hopping now, and
wow.
And Grasshopper is a freaking scholar over here. Okay, he's good. He knows his stuff, and he's really really studied on this stuff.
Yeah,
that's great. It's not just from a
I'm just a parking lot scholar.
Yeah, just from a religious, aspect, I would say Grasshopper would redeem as an academic. Very cool.
Right.
And I wish we could get Grasshopper on and talk about some stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat Collins, how many Bigfoots were on Moses' Ark? Moses' Ark?
No wonder he was excommunicated. I gotta put that back up there.
Moses. That's good. That's good. I think Moses was much smaller than. No. I take that back. I'm just joking with you. That's pretty
good. Moses' Ark.
And Grasshopper, big brain, clicks right in here. Noah's Ark is also a Sumerian concept from the text. Yes.
Wait.
Oh,
No, Noah's
goes
Ark
back
was
to
a
the-
was a Sumerian concept. I thought it was a Noah concept. He made the ark.
the tales of Gilgamesh, the tale of Gilgamesh too. Yeah, good stuff. But,
I'm still going to go back and read Rumple Foreskin.
if if Dr. Howe is still with us, I'm sure she would be enjoying this, and I would love to have her on talking about this because that woman, she's forgotten more than I'll ever learn about the Old Testament.
And how?
She was, is, was, will be a genius. She is a genius.
I'm still shaking my head over the Moses.
That was good. That was good.
So,
Yes.
so one of my favorite cartoons ever was one of the Don Larson's Far Side cartoons,
Right.
and it has an ark, and you see these four hooves sticking up in the air,
Right.
with a very grumpy Noah talking to a deckhand, saying, "From now on, all carnivores are confined to sea deck."
Yeah.
Right, and underneath it said "Fate of the Unicorns."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I think I've seen a similar cartoon strip like that. The unicorns didn't make it on the boat. As far as I'm concerned, they could have left all the snakes off. I mean, that would have been fine by me. A world without snakes would be a much nicer.
I do believe back in biblical times they called them asps.
Yeah,
Asps.
they could have left them out and it suit me just fine.
Especially the rattle asps.
Okay, come on now. I'm not that old. Almost, but not that old. No, I can't vouch for the scriptures. I wasn't there when. Who was it? I think it was Reagan or something other. It said made a.
Yeah. See here. See, Grasshopper said he has watched more lectures online than I can remember. Israel Finkelstein lectures are the best in Hebrew history.
Right.
I'm sorry, I listened to Moishe Tettenbaum, discussing how to fix cars out of
You can stop by my channel and work on small engines and soon tractors. Minneapolis Moline tractors coming soon.
All of a sudden you hear, "I have no goddamn idea who created the Nephilim. You goddamn Shugana." Anyway,
Oh man.
you should be so lucky, you bastard. Anyway, I'm sorry.
All the what do you want to call it? The conspiracy theories that have been put out like that. And we're not talking about just average researcher that's just getting into it. We're talking about doctors doing DNA studies, Melba Ketchum, Doc Ketchum, putting out there the theory that these are Nephilim, and things of that nature. These are the offspring of angels and women, human women. I'm like, oh, wait a minute now. She's got way off on there on the book of Enoch there. And, I really would like to get a look at angel DNA though. I mean,
now they're wondering if I'm going to have a bagel and a schmear. Now I'm a bit verklempt.
Since you're in New York, you know as well as I do, if you're going to get a bagel or any kind of pastry or bread, you better stop by a Jewish bakery.
Yes, I'll have a damn mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
I love it.
No, actually, it's kind of funny because how I was able to do this Hasidic accent, was my father used to live next to a gentleman from the Hasidim.
Yeah.
And he used to talk like him all the time because the guy used to say the funniest things to him. And here I am, like a 5-year-old kid listening to these stories. So all of a sudden, to pick up this accent is not a big deal, goddammit. You know what I mean? You should be so lucky to have such a good looking co-host as me, huh? Right?
Oh, I love
Oh, there she is, Nikki.
it.
Hey, Nikki, did you bring the fruit, huh? God damn it.
Nikki.
See, so I can go on all day
Fat
like that.
Mom. Fat Mom's an angel. We'll get a sample of her DNA and send it to Ketchum.
That's right.
Whew. Gosh, you're killing me. My face is hurting. All right. Lori Gibbs. Just a throw. Is someone empath or psychic here? Psychotic? No, psychic.
Yeah, there's a few psychos here. I know that. Mick is leaving. I don't know why. We're just having fun.
Mick, I hate to see you. Don't run off, bud.
But anyway,
we don't want to offend anybody. Anything that's been mentioned here is just, about the text of the Bible.
Right.
It doesn't matter. We're not pointing out any religions, narrowing out any religion. And
So,
see, that's the thing. When you talk about biblical text, it could be offensive to some people, regardless. Even if you're leaving religion out of it, just using the Bible as a textbook, it can be offensive to some people.
Even though we're moving on to another topic.
Yeah, absolutely don't want to offend nobody. But I think we covered that up pretty good. I mean, I covered it pretty good, though, Steve.
It's not a very long topic to talk about.
It's not. There's only a couple of places, and we covered them.
Well, Lori, there has been things we always try to avoid talking politics and religion, and
yes,
and the only reason why religion is brought up in tonight's show is because of the throwing out of the Nephilim as being an excuse for being Bigfoot, and the people that tend to do that tend to be very obnoxious and self-righteous most of the time. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but they come off as being very strong and headstrong, I should say. But that is the spectrum of our discussion tonight. And really, I'm good. I'm done with the Nephilim. We put that one to rest. Right. But I don't believe there's any solid evidence, even after reading the so-called scripture, and even necessarily the book of Enoch, that there is no connection. There is no descriptions that would make there be a connection other than the fact that they were large and big and strong. And I'm sorry, but that's nothing that we see observable on a Sasquatch.
And it distinctly outlines the text as people. These people.
All right.
Wow.
But anywho, anything in particular you'd like to cover tonight, Chris?
Let's get on a different topic. I popped up a search in the old Googler here for Bigfoot, and it pops up, click on Detroit. Michigan man claims he was attacked by a Bigfoot.
What?
We've heard of mysterious things like UFOs, aliens, and ghosts, but here in Michigan, we have our own mystery we're trying to solve. It's whether Bigfoot is out there or not. Well, Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, has been a prominent figure in folklore and legends for centuries, captivating the imaginations of people around the world with tales of a giant humanoid creature roaming in the wilderness. The legend of Bigfoot traces back to indigenous communities across North America, with numerous tribes sharing stories of a mysterious ape-like being that dwells in the forest.
Hang on a second, Chris.
Sure.
Now, people, you guys don't know this, but I know Chris is only reading this with one screen. So right now, he doesn't see what's on the screen right now.
Oh, sorry. I need to go
No,
back.
no, it's okay. No, no, read on.
Don't want me to look?
No.
Don't want me to look? Okay. I think I'm at the brunt of this, but I'll go ahead. A name that has become synonymous with tales of the elusive creature is Casey Dostert. We first broke the story back in February 2023 on the Michigan native capturing the imaginations of cryptid enthusiasts and skeptics alike. With a background steeped in mystery and fascination for the unknown, Dostert's alleged encounters with the legendary creature have become a focus in the realm of cryptozoology. While he's not revealing where in Michigan he lives, aside from confirming he's in the upper lower peninsula, Dostert has been.
That's almost as good as Moses' Ark.
I like on the southern part of northern New York. Anyway, Dostert has been documenting his alleged encounters with the creature and sharing them on his TikTok page.
Yeah, he's only got a 50% chance of making it, but I only give him a 10% chance at that.
Racking up thousands of views. Dostert has recently added fuel to this debate by posting a video on his TikTok page claiming he was attacked by a Bigfoot. He takes viewers on a walk through the woods and shows them signs that Bigfoot is out there somewhere. If you watch to the end, he was knocked out cold. Yeah, why did this happen 3 days ago? Okay. Edward W. Bullard, founder of the Heart.
That's actually the actual guy that did find, but I decided to add a brick to his head.
That's pretty good. But yeah, this is an old story. This guy, he made some video, and he's even on YouTube. I can't recall the channel where he's out in the woods and then he falls down or something, and he says the Bigfoot attacked him, knocked him out.
Well, I think a person would have a hard time going back to the same woods or the same forest where it happened to show people.
Yeah, that's it. If I get knocked out by a Bigfoot, that's it. My research days are done and over. No more for me. What else we got here? Move over Loch Ness. DC has the Metro Monster. No. From the Collider. Okay, this is going to be cool.
Oh, hang on. I got one for you, too. Okay, now he's laughing. This is supposedly... Hang on. This is supposedly a Bigfoot as well.
Oh.
And again, it's another picture of a bear.
What's he getting into there? Is that a feeding trough?
It sure does look that way.
I think so. Yeah.
So somebody was trying to claim this was a Bigfoot online.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. But I saw that video, and I know it's on YouTube somewhere. Maybe somebody posted the TikTok video on YouTube, and the guy's just out walking in the woods, and he starts rolling around, gets beat up. I don't know. Next thing it shows him in the hospital bed, I think, and he's got his eyes all swole up. He got beat up. Don't pick a fight with a Bigfoot. But anyway, this one is from Collider, and it says the director of the Blair Witch Project also made this daring found footage Bigfoot film. What is the name of it? Oh, never mind.
Exists.
You guys have already seen this. It's called Exists. Yeah, I've seen that. Good movie. Good movie. Yeah, you can't. I would go as far as great. Yeah, great.
Now, I have to say this, though. A lot of people did not like that Sasquatch Sunset movie. And
Well,
I myself watched it and was not very impressed with it.
I have not seen it yet. When it comes to video, I'll watch it. I mean, I'm not paying $20 to watch it, okay? But when it comes to video, like on one of my services, then I'll watch it. But yeah, from what I understand, it's kind of a comedy, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate a good comedy movie, especially with Bigfoot. That would be great. I loved Harry and the Hendersons. You remember that? Harry and the Hendersons was great. But I'm not dropping $20-$30 to watch it.
Of course, Eduardo Sanchez is the guy that, Exist was a great film. But he was truly the man who created the found film footage
Right.
type of movie with the Blair Witch Project. It was the first time anybody's ever really had seen something like that before, which is the reason why it did so well.
Yeah.
He did have a campaign on the web at the time, creating this kind of foul Blair Witch website and talking about the missing people, and it started building a buzz about it. Strangely, a few years after that happened, a person by the name of Todd Standing started doing the same type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's why, we all put one and one together. And at the time, he was advertising for actors in the Vancouver area and all that wonderful stuff. Or the Edmonton area. I'm sorry, not Vancouver. After
the Blair Witch Project, there were a number of filmmakers that were starting to do the found footage type stuff. And, the camera work, they're doing this like from a handheld camera. And I didn't like it. I don't like it.
Yep, and Nikki, who's seen it as well, said, "I wish Sasquatch Sunset would have gone full comedy with it. It would have been much more better." It was. It took a lot of strange, serious terms that really made no sense, and there was really no way. Let me just say that it wasn't very expressive when some bad things happened in the movie. Like you were like, and the Bigfoot were like, "Oh, okay, move on." And we know that's not how primates act normally. So, and looking at it, it looks very phony and contrived, at least in my opinion. Some of the humor was good. Some of it was just.
Thank you, Jay.
That's very true.
I hope we're at least as good as, or half as good as Sasquatch Sunset. I've not seen it. That's something I've been wanting to get Steve to do it. Of course, he's his neck is beat up a little bit right now.
What's that?
I've been wanting to get Steve to do a documentary, and that would be cool. I would love to go to up there around in the Pacific Northwest and maybe up into British Columbia.
RESPECT. RESPECT. That's my best Monty Python imitation right there. Huh? You don't get it because you've never watched Monty Python.
I've watched
those Monty Python. But for those Monty Python folks, they would get that.
I've watched Monty Python.
So then you get it.
Back in the 70s, right? We had maybe 2 channels we could watch because we had a TV antenna. And one of the shows we could watch, or one of the channels we could watch, was PBS. And they would have Monty Python on, and they also had the Benny Hill Show. The Benny Hill Show. Now, this was an educational network showing Monty Python. Okay.
Yeah, it was PBS. Yep.
It was so cool. But I gotta say, the British have a different sense of humor than we do. And while, with it's kind of funny, Benny Hill, most 99% of his stuff was a man getting popped in the private areas where, that would be painful. And that was supposed to be the funny part. And after you've seen it once or twice, yeah, it was funny, but, not every sketch needs to be some guy getting poked in the manly area, private area. yeah, Lori, I love Benny Hill too. Some of it was funny, and his poetry that he did. He would do little poems that were hilarious. And I remember some of those, like the gunfighter. He turned around and bent over, and then the other guy fired the shot. And when they did the autopsy, they never found the bullet hole and stuff like that. It was hilarious. Steve, where'd you go, man? We lost Steve. Oh no. You guys. Always like confuse a cat on Python. I can't remember that. I can't remember it. It's been, I watched them when I was a kid, and unfortunately I hadn't watched any of the other Monty Python stuff shows since then. But I watched some of the movies, Monty Python, The Holy Grail, and what was it? Oh gosh, Steve. Steve's going to look up Moses' Ark now. Yeah, Pat. I hope he finds it. I'd like to see some information on that. Steve's Curious Cryptid says, well, the British had the good sense to kick out the Puritans, who we got. Wouldn't it be interesting if we got the criminals and the Puritans were sent down under? That would be cool. Jay says, Bigfoot got Steve. He may have. No, he's probably giving the office assistant a little treat. Oh, yes. Bristol, The Life of Brian. That was a good one. Yes. I love that. I love that movie. It's only a flesh wound. I think I've seen that one too. That sketch. That was good. And there used to be on, of course, as a kid that grew up watching TV through an antenna, which we had, 2, maybe 3 channels. We had a show on Friday nights. It was called Fridays, and it was on ABC. And they were trying to compete with Saturday Night Live. And man, they had some really good stuff on there. Did you ever watch that as a kid, Steve? Fridays? It was a show called Fridays. And
Negative.
They had it on ABC. Had who was it? Michael Richards. I think that's where he got his start. He was really young there. A few others I can't name off the top of my head. Melanie Chartoff, I think she got her start there.
First show I ever saw Michael Richards in was the movie UHF, which was with Weird Al Yankovic.
Yes.
And he was the janitor in the station that got his own TV show, children's TV show.
Yeah. That was hilarious. Yes, he used the little toy dinosaurs and play acted with them. He did about the same thing on Fridays with Army Men, little green Army Men. He would act like he was a little kid, and he would play act with Army Men, and it was hilarious. And unfortunately, I think the only thing they've released to video is the best of Fridays, and it's on one of the streaming services. I can't remember, but they don't show all the episodes. They only show like episodes 3, 5, and 7 and stuff like that.
Well, when it comes to Bigfoot stuff, nothing to me beats the Legend of Boggy Creek. Nothing beats the old in search of the true stuff, the real documentary
Right.
stuff, not the
Well, the Legend of Boggy Creek, I actually didn't see that until much later, years and years later. The first one that I saw at the theater was the Sasquatch, the Legend of Bigfoot. And,
shit,
so
I didn't care for that.
yeah,
I never did care for it because it wasn't real.
yeah, mockumentary basically. Yeah. But afterwards, years later, I learned that that was basically Roger Patterson's story,
Idea.
right? To do it that way, complete with the Indian, the guy playing the Indian, Native. I should say Native American. Don't want to offend anybody, but let's see. The whole team was going to go out and capture a Sasquatch, a live Sasquatch. Steve Chris Crichton said, "Boggy Creek really broke me for darkened windows." Yeah,
Yeah.
I never have liked sleeping next to a window. Never.
Yeah, that whole scary thing of it reaching in the window.
Yeah. That's kind of creepy. And even in the living room, you don't want to have your couch back next to the window. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was very very disturbing as a child, and I saw it as probably did Curious Cryptid Steve. Probably saw it at a very young age, so it does stick with you as being very scary and yeah.
Very true.
Yep, or open windows.
Well, that was the thing. Right. At
Nice.
at the old house, at the home place, after I had some activity, 300 feet behind my house, we had activity there. And that was the one where I had seen fresh tracks in the snow go into the cedar thicket behind that house. And, I was like, well, this is kind of creepy. I was excited, but then again, kind of weirded out at the same time. And so what I did, I set up lights behind the house. And, you could have played the nighttime ball game around back. It was very, very well lit. But still over in the cedar thicket, about, 300 feet back, it was still dark over there. And that's where I had the camera set up. But yeah, it's kind of creepy, if you live in an area where these creatures are. You get to thinking about that stuff at nighttime when there's a window right next to you. And I know it's like, your mind's playing, giving you the what if. Well, what if this could happen, and 99% it's not going to happen.
Yep.
You always got that what if.
So, guess what I'm doing tomorrow?
I have no idea.
I'll be out in the field filming.
Oh, is this going to be historical, or is this going to be Sasquatch Bigfoot related?
Oh, actually, it's I'm being interviewed.
Okay.
So I'm going to be on one of Alex Petikoff's Beyond the Trail episodes coming up.
Alex does good stuff.
Yep. Yeah. He's going to be covering New York again. And that's right, Pat. I don't get scared when 1,400-pound wood ape throws rocks at him. But yeah, so I'll be up there. Probably, we're not quite sure where we're going to be shooting just yet tomorrow because I'm not even sure of the weather tomorrow. It's supposed to be partly cloudy, high of 50, low of 50, high of 54, low of 33 tomorrow. So, and then Wednesday and Thursday, it's supposed to be back in the mid 70s.
Very cool.
All partly cloudy, no rain. So,
this time of year, if you're still getting nice, sunny blue skies and decent temperatures in the afternoon, is great. I just really hate it when the weather turns to gray skies, 40 degrees, and misting rain. I can't stand that. Man, that hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
When you get old, people, you'll find the weather hurts.
yeah. Yeah, well, all this up and down has played hell with my allergies, which is the reason why I'm getting very bronchial in my nose, because it's warm, it's cold, it's warm, it's cold, it's warm, it's cold. And it's really been a strange season.
They're killing me in the dead. Yeah. Helton Faster Man. I couldn't imagine growing up knowing there was a Bigfoot in the woods. Yeah, well, that was a trick. Up until the time when I actually saw it, I don't know how Steve felt about it, but I felt like
Yeah, Nikki.
81. I felt like it could always still be somebody be pulling a prank. I saw the tracks, and in my mind I was like, somebody could have made them. Somebody could have made them. That could be fake. Somebody messing with me.
Well, where I grew up, I had woods behind me, but it wasn't, like it was only like maybe 100 yards worth of woods, and then that would go into another suburban area. So there was never any threat of Sasquatch or Bigfoot there. In fact, when I became like 11 or 12, I had pretty much forgotten about the whole Bigfoot thing.
Yeah.
And I was too busy playing baseball and football and just being a preteen and a teen. Never really thought of that again until around 1996, and then by 98 I started getting into it.
Yeah. And I never seen anything out of the ordinary. I used to spend a lot of time in the woods when I was a kid. A lot.
Right.
I had a 22 rifle. I would take a box of shells. I usually come in a little 50 round box, and I would take those out, and every day wouldn't come home until those were gone. And I never saw anything out of the ordinary. Never.
Yeah. Now, I know a lot of the folks in the chat are Gen Xers, a lot by statistics. Some maybe even baby boomers, and maybe a few Gen Ys. But we were the last generation to be out and about quite often. Yeah. Video games were relegated to Pong, boop, boop, and some of those. And in the very early maybe the very early days of Atari, like Pitfall.
Yeah.
Pitfall was huge. And that wasn't even a game made by Atari. It was one of the biggest Atari games. It was actually made by a company called Activision.
Yeah.
But my days were not spent in front of a video game.
Right.
Not until many years later, where I actually enjoyed, playing. I do enjoy playing a good video game now and again.
Yeah.
But my days were, surrounded by, playing ball, working.
Right.
Because even at 13, 14, 15, I was working. I was doing yard work. I was, when I was 12 years old, I would take a shovel and go door to door knocking. You want your sidewalk done? You want your sidewalk done?
Right.
And I would come home with, $70 in my pocket.
Yeah.
For the day. Back then, that was pretty good money, for the time. And I used to make a couple of $1,000 during summer vacation. Clearing lots, those are the days where, I could get away with using a chainsaw, even as a 16-year-old, digging up shrubs, pulling out shrubs,
at that time,
grading lawns, mowing lawns, planting lawns.
Yeah.
It's what I did as a teen.
Video games were a thing at that time, but normally you would take a pocket full of quarters and go to your local arcade or the local
Right.
quick stop where they had a machine.
Right.
That was it. The home gaming was just kind of, I don't want to say a joke, but compared to what you can do now on a home video game, it was just ridiculous.
Well, the other thing is that nobody in my sphere of influence even mentioned the word Bigfoot or UFO or anything strange like that, for that matter. So my curiosity while I was in elementary school, by the time I had hit middle school, had faded from me. And, that's what my life revolved around, was just, making some money and enjoy spending my money with friends. And,
That's right, Steve. Tank Battle, Asteroid, Space Invaders. Yeah. Those are the great ones.
Galaxy. What is that little game? Star Castle. I don't even remember Star Castle. But
Donkey Kong,
Pac-Man. Pac-Man.
Cool games.
Yep.
But you had to be good or your quarter didn't last. But I had a video game in the mid 70s, and it was in television, I think it was. But it was just kind of really rinky dink, by today's standards. Not good. And they had similar things like Space Invaders, but it was called something, something else. They just changed the name of it. Same design, same game as Space Invaders, but like Spaced Invader or something like that.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah, they should have charged you 15 cents for that game instead of 25 because it was a ripoff.
Yeah. Oh man.
And the days of arcades are pretty much done. Although there's still some arcades out there, and there's nobody ever in them.
Yeah.
Bristol
popped up here, Steve. I'll put this up. So, any thoughts on the areas of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia that were devastated by the storm regarding Bigfoot? Some very active areas were affected. Well,
I firmly believe that Bigfoot, when they sense stuff like that going on, it's not like they. And my guess is they all headed for the high ground.
Yeah.
And I do believe that Bigfoot during the day portions of the day reside in the high grounds, where people don't go. The very high mountainous areas and stuff like that. And then as the darkness falls, they come down from those high grounds to drink, eat, forage, et cetera, et cetera. That's my working theory on that. But
that's their first rodeo. They know what to do.
Yeah.
Tracy pops up. Remember the ABC after school specials? Yes. I couldn't tell you the name of one of them, but I probably watched them all. And I couldn't tell you the name of one of them.
I don't know. I remember them. I don't remember watching them.
I can't remember a title to either one of them.
I don't remember watching them.
Yeah. ABC after school special. They played them in the afternoon. Right. That's exactly right. Can't remember a title of a single one. But, we had one station out of Louisville, and I think it was WDRB 41, which was UHF. And I watched that one quite a bit. And they had stuff on there like Presto the Magic Clown. They had cartoons after school. They had cartoons before school. And on Friday nights, they would have the creature feature. And they would show a scary movie on Friday night. So, yeah, buddy, you can guarantee old Crisco was going to be wide awake Friday night watching the movie. Yeah, going to watch. And it was some kind of old black and white movie. Usually it's like The Invisible Man, the black and white version, or Creature from the Black Lagoon. They had a bunch of them. They were good.
Yeah, but he's like at Construction Junction. I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill.
Schoolhouse Rock, yes. That's how I learned the preamble to the Constitution. That is it. That is it. I remember our civics teacher told us to watch that cartoon to learn the preamble if we wanted to memorize it. To this day, when I say it, I have to sing along to that song in my head.
Why does that not surprise me, Patrick Collins? Who happened to say, I never got to watch after school movie. I was always in detention.
Oh, Pat, man. You missed out on the cartoons, too. You probably missed out on Ultraman and Batman, you know, the 60s Batman reruns, Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island was a thing.
Yeah, it was good. But, yeah, afternoon, you know, and I was one of the
You ever wonder why, you know, the professor, after making all that crap, couldn't make a boat to get out of there or fix them, you know?
That's the thing, yeah. Why didn't they fix the old one, you know? Okay, it had a hole in it. Patch it up.
How did it land with that big hole in it anyway? I think it would have sunk had it had a hole like that in it.
I think it would have too.
Something just don't make sense.
Oh, man. Okay, we got everybody going down memory lane. Oh, yeah. Okay, Ristel answered that question.
Yep.
Were you a Mary Ann guy or were you a Ginger guy? Ristel was a Mary Ann guy.
I tend to agree with Ristel.
Me too. Me too. And, you know, surprisingly, Dawn Wells just died a few years ago. I think she got, well, when the stuff,
yeah, the stuff.
when the stuff hit, I think she was a victim of the stuff. But, well, I hated that too. Because I remember watching her, oh gosh, what was the name of it? There's a TV channel that shows nothing but classic TV shows. And she would host on that channel quite a bit for episodes of Gilligan's Island. And was it Me TV or I think it was Me TV? That was the channel. Good stuff.
Yeah, well, Tina Louise hated that show. She was the only one that hated the
Yeah,
show.
yeah. You know, I read up on it afterwards, like, and while I'm reading all this stuff, I'm like, wow. You know, she was so angry because she thought she was going to be the star.
The star.
The star. And, you know, to her credit, you know, maybe her agent kind of misrepresented it. Said told her it was going to be about a movie star who got trapped on an island with these other people. So, you know, was Ginger the star? No, not at all. Matter of fact, to me, I thought, of course, you know, we got Gilligan. It's Gilligan's Island.
Toby Gillis.
Yeah. Out of the two younger women there, Mary Ann was the star, I always thought. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Pat, when I see you, I'm going to kick you in the shins for that one. Pat just suggested that Chris start calling me little buddy.
Little buddy. Well, there is some similarity between me and Alan Hale Jr. We both have kind of chunky cheeks and probably carrying a little bit extra weight around the midsection.
Alan Hale Jr. made one of the movie that he showed up in he was the desk sergeant in Johnny Dangerously. I don't know if you ever remember watching that movie, Johnny Dangerously, with Michael Keaton.
Yes, I watched that in 1985, and I did not remember that, but you are right. Yep. You are right.
And calling a car, let's get this now, a car with little bunnies and duckies. First drinks on me.
Oh, boy. But, yeah, the whole society in general at large has changed since I was a kid. You know, I can think about when I'd talk to my mom and dad about this stuff before, and they would reminisce about how things were when they were growing up. You know, my dad was telling me, "Oh yeah, you could get a Coke for a nickel," stuff like that. I'm like, "Wow, wow, a nickel," you know.
You know what? You could get anything. You know, I used to bust my father's chops. You can get it. Yeah, Pop, you can get anything for a nickel back in your day. Oh, yeah, I got a stove. It was a nickel.
Yeah.
I got a.
Oh,
I got
my goodness! Look what
Jay,
Jay
thank
did.
you, brother.
Jay, thank you so much. Wow, what a nice guy, Jay Fritz. Thank you so
We
much.
appreciate that, brother.
Certainly do.
Yeah, everything was a nickel. Yeah, I used to walk through school barefoot. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah. Uphill both ways. How did that work out? They walked uphill both ways.
And Pat Collins, as my dad often referred to me as Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, get in the house. And I suppose your brother was, damn it, will you get in here?
Oh yeah, I remember that. We're not going to talk about that, Ristel, but I remember that too.
Yes, we don't want to break any YouTube rules by promoting.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. But but that was the thing, you know. Mom worked, Dad worked, and you know you would get ready for school, and you know normally Mama would say, "You make sure you catch the bus now," and she's off to work. Okay, watch cartoons for a while, hop on the bus, then get off the bus in the afternoon, and you know the door was unlocked at that time. Well, you didn't have to lock your doors. I would just go in the house and watch TV for a while till she came home.
See, my father worked nights, so I didn't see him much at all during the weekdays.
Yeah.
And I'd see my mom a little bit, but I was out the door. You know, I'd come in from school, you know, throw whatever I needed to do, whatever, and then I'd be out, and I would be back in for dinner, in which I'd see my father, and then I'd be back out again, and then I'd come back in, and an hour or two later he would leave for work, and I would go to bed. Or actually, I didn't go to bed. I was supposed to go to bed, but I ended up watching late night TV with my mom. My father never knew that. Well, I had a bedtime of 11 o'clock, but I often stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning watching The Tonight Show with my mom.
Right.
And
I had a little Yamaha 80 motorcycle, which were really popular back then. A lot of people had the Yamaha 80. It's a little GT 80. And I would ride that thing from daylight until dark. And I remember it was never a problem because Dad would, give me, whatever. Here's 35 cents for gas. Whatever. Okay. Go fill it up. It is 35 cents. You got a tank full of gas, buddy. And you go ride that thing all day, man.
I remember when gas was 75 cents a gallon. It was fill my car up, off I go.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, and it hadn't been that long ago, too. In 1985, I was driving out from Kentucky to Alamogordo, New Mexico, on my way to my first Air Force duty station. And I stopped, would fill up, and I would try to find it below 70 cents a gallon. And I usually did. I would fill up 69 cents a gallon, the magic number, 69 cents a gallon. We're talking July 1985, somewhere around in there. Okay. But, when you get out there in the desert areas, though, I figured out, well, when it gets down to half a tank, I don't care if the gas is $1.75, I'm filling up because I'm not walking out in this desert.
Yeah.
Tracy. My brothers called me Witchy Poo, HR Puffin stuff. Yeah, HR Puffin stuff.
Yeah, if that wasn't a subtle reference to other stuff. And did anybody ever think that Shaggy was not a stoner on Scooby-Doo?
Well, I didn't really consider it when I was a kid. I didn't think about it.
No, me neither. But now that I'm older, going, yeah, he kind of did sound. He was always hungry.
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. Curious Cryptid said, "Funny, gas is probably about the same price now. Just the dollar is worth 5 times less."
Yeah, very true. Very
Oh,
true.
Steve.
Very true.
Oh man.
Yeah, but he was saying, yeah, Shaggy was a total stoner.
Yeah, I never considered it. You know, maybe that's just the innocence of youth, you know, at that time.
Yep.
But after you've grown several decades older, you can look back and kind of think where they were going with that.
You know, the Flintstones was just a cartoon version of the Honeymooners.
Yes, I got that. The Honeymooners was another series that I routinely watched the reruns of. It was good.
And Fred Flintstone, and it's kind of funny because I have Sirius Radio, and every once in a while I will listen to some of the old time radio shows. And there's one show that has this very familiar voice on it. And the guy's voice, the radio actor who was named Alan Hale. Actually, let me check something real quick.
Go ahead, man. Look him up. That's why we are in the computer age. Something that the brain can't latch on to right now. Just look it up online. And that's another thing that's so
yeah,
good.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Right.
That's right. It was Alan Reed. I almost said Alan Hale because we were talking about
right
Alan Hale earlier. It was Alan Reed. And Alan Reed was the voice of Fred Flintstone. So every once in a while, you would hear like this Fred Flintstone voice on one of these radio shows, but it's actually Alan Reed playing a character.
Yeah.
But
yeah, times have changed, man. The TV, you know, used to you had to watch what was on. It's not like you had a big choice, you know. Like I was telling you.
And Mike Stetton just made a statement which I will agree with him 1,000%. The Honeymooners was the greatest sitcom of all time.
You know, it was great. It was great, man. Jackie Gleason, you know, you can't beat Jackie Gleason.
You know, I love the ones where he. The funniest one I ever thought was the episode with the Mambo, where he had this neighbor move in, you know, Carlos Sanchez move in. You know, he was a dancer and he used to teach. And one day he's teaching all the women in the building how to Mambo in Ralph's apartment. Ralph comes in from work, puts his lunchbox down, looks at everybody, smiles at everybody, goes into the bedroom, all of a sudden comes walking out like, everybody out. And one of the funniest lines in that was when he met, he goes, "Oh, Mr. Sanchez." He goes, oh, Mr. Kremden, you don't have to call me Mr. Sanchez. Call me Carlos. Okay, great to meet you. Right. And after Ralph has this blowout with Sanchez, he says, Norton, out. He goes, "Oh, Ralph, you don't have to call me Norton. You can call me Eduardo." The funniest friggin' line.
What a great series that was. And you know, they don't make TV like that, dude. I mean, that stuff is gone. The classics are great. I love them, and I still watch them a lot of times on.
And as a really young kid, my comedic idols were the Three Stooges.
Yeah, me too.
And now that I've gotten older, you know, you listen to the dialect,
right?
You listen to the words, and the words are funny as hell because, you know, like Hurley, you know, very seriously, are you happy or are you married? Yeah, simple as that, you know, just like,
right.
So straight. And of course, I love the Marx Brothers.
Yeah. But man, the Stooges was it. I mean, you know, we got to see Stooges shorts quite a bit after school, you know, during the after school shows. And I love
yes. Pat Collins, the one of the funniest TV episodes ever was the WKRP in Cincinnati turkey giveaway. Where
the greatest episode ever written. Les Nessman hurling. Wait a minute, you're muted, Steve. You're muted, man.
there's turkey bodies everywhere.
Oh,
My God, for God's sakes, I thought turkeys could fly.
oh man. It's been probably 2 years ago. My boys were visiting me, and we were talking about that show, the WKRP in Cincinnati. And I was talking about that episode, and they started laughing. I said, "You guys got to see this," and we found it. We found it somewhere on a streaming service somewhere, and it was just as hilarious this time as it was the first day I watched it. It's hilarious. Oh, thought turkeys could fly. Well, maybe, you know, the wild turkeys probably could, but not these big fat farm grown. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, but,
Oh,
you
the
know, that-
humanity. Oh,
No, the humanity.
the humanity. Yeah. Oh, you guys are killing me tonight.
And the best ending to any TV sitcom was Newhart. And I don't know if you remember the Bob Newhart show.
I watched sometimes, yeah.
So, of course, he had that first run with Newhart back in the early 70s where it was him and Suzanne Plachette, and he was the psychologist. And right. So then in the 80s, they gave him the Bob Newhart show, where he was with Fran, I forget her last name, and he ran it in Vermont, and he was an innkeeper, and that's where you got to meet Tom Poston as his handyman, and Larry, Daryl, and Daryl.
Yeah.
Well, the week leading up to the last episode and they were on for like 9 years, and the Japanese were buying the inn. They were buying up all the land in the town for golf courses and resorts and stuff like that.
Right.
And at the very end, you know, Bob gets hit with a golf ball, hits him in the head, and he starts to pass out. And then it fades to black.
Right.
And then when he wakes up next to Suzanne Plachette and the old set of Newhart.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it was the funniest, smartest ending I've ever seen. Like the whole thing was just a dream, and they went back to his old show.
Right.
And I thought that I mean, to get Suzanne Plachette to come back and play his wife just for that scene.
Genius.
And the whole thing is, none of the crew and cast knew it. They brought Suzanne Plachette in a blanket.
Right.
The crew only knew that day when they had to put the set up. Right. And the set was completely in dark with the live studio audience, so they didn't know what was in front of them. They kept it really dark. Yeah. And then when they raised the lights for the scene, the crowd started going nuts because they recognized the old set.
Oh, yeah, they want to get that reaction, too, from the live studio audience. Yeah, genius.
And then you see the person roll over, and it's Suzanne Plachette.
Right.
Not Fran.
Oh, man.
And there's Bob going, I had the weirdest dream.
Oh, man. If we could get some of that in today's TVs, you know, TV show series. Oh, just some of that. All right, we got our Gen Xers here talking about stuff. MASH, Little House on the Prairie. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Most of the stuff that I grew up watching was on like ABC. Well, gosh, we didn't really get NBC and CBS that much. You had to go out and turn the antenna. And ABC was our local affiliate, and that was Channel 13, and they were in Bowling Green. So I could point the antenna at Bowling Green, and it came in really good, really good. It was crystal clear. The other ones were kind of like hazy and snowy, and it's kind of funny. Kids today don't really understand what it means to be standing there with the front door open and somebody watching the TV yelling out the door, "Turn it back to the left a little more."
Yep.
Right there, right there. Oh, man. Oh. Nope.
So,
no.
On that note, before we go, one of my favorite movies to watch. I have really 3 favorite comedies. Actually, make that 5. My top 5 comedies: Ruthless People, Bette Midler, Danny DeVito, Judge Reinhold. Euro Trip.
Okay. Yeah.
A bunch of names that a lot of people don't know. Office Space, cult classic. I believe you see my stapler, right?
Yes.
My other one that I love, Something About Mary. That was phenomenally hysterical. If you've ever seen it, Chris, you got to watch
Pretty good.
it.
Yeah, I've watched that. Yeah, pretty good.
But my ultimate favorite is always fun to watch is Grandma's Boy.
Grandma's Boy.
Alan, it's a Adam Sandler production, but he's not in it. Okay. Alan Covert stars in it. If you haven't seen Grandma's Boy,
I have not.
Bit of a stoner movie, but it's the funniest movie you'll ever see.
I'll have to watch it.
It's kind of a gamer. They're game testers, and so
right.
But Grandma's Boy was my favorite movie of all time, especially with some of the background stuff that goes on involved in it between the dealer and the animals he's training or the animals he has.
Right.
There's noise in the background that's just friggin' hysterical.
I will have to watch that because I have not seen it. Grandma's.
That's right, the Bat Mom. Yeah, I'm gonna have you come in tomorrow and Sunday too.
Got it on my list of things to do. Watch Grandma's Boy.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, Chris, it's that time. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We kind of running a little bit short tonight on the topic because it wasn't that large of a topic to cover.
Well, I didn't really read a lot of the stuff that was on there.
Yeah. We don't want to get into. We didn't want to take it somewhere where we don't want to go.
Right.
And we appreciate everybody, keeping it. What I want to say here.
Civil.
Yes. Very, very civilly and very polite. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You got hanging out with us on Sunday nights and Wednesdays and Fridays when we show up. We appreciate you guys. And thank you so much. I always say it because I always mean it. You guys are the greatest audience we could ever hope to have. And we are so, so humbled by you hanging out with us. And we appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you haven't signed up, if you haven't subscribed, if it's your first time watching, smash the subscribe button. Doesn't cost anything. Hit the like on the way out if you hadn't already. Doesn't cost anything.
Oh, we have a question.
Hello, I would like to ask the Squatch Detective a question. Have you seen Bigfoot? Oh yeah, you have. Have you seen my stapler? Hello.
Oh, such a great voice from Office Space, man. Oh, gotta give me one of those staplers. What was it? A swing line?
Red swing line.
Red swing line.
And at the time of the movie, they didn't even make them, and they had to make them.
They made them because of the movie.
And you know what's on my desk? You know what's on my desk, right?
I've seen it.
I have a red swing line, damn it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, anyway, folks, again, we love you guys. You're the greatest audience in the world. We want to wish everybody a happy and safe week. We'll catch everybody Wednesday night this week, 9 p.m. Eastern, for an all-new episode of Squatchdtv, where we discuss anything but the flippin' Nephilim. And I got to say, guys, thank you for all you do. Thank you to all our members. You guys, make it happen for us. If you haven't joined, consider joining. But you just being here and subscribed as a viewer means the world to us. We love you guys. A lot more great content coming as we go on, and a lot more exciting news as we go on too. So there's a lot of good news piping down the stream real quick. So folks, on behalf of me and Chris, everybody have a great week. You stay healthy, God bless, and keep on squatching. We'll see you all Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on youtube.com/@SquatchDTV.
We thank you for being here with us on Squatch-D TV. If you haven't taken the time yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And oh yes, hit that notification bell too. We don't want you to miss anything. If you really like our content, you should consider becoming a member, and it's really inexpensive and a great way to support not only the show, but honest Bigfoot research. Everyone have a great week. Be safe and God bless. We will see you all here next time on Squatch-D TV. Keep on squatching.